Okay, as you open up your Indigenous Artist Choice Board this week, you will see that it's a little different because it's based on your area of interest for you to explore. So you'll pick one area, and we're going to go through what those areas are. So you can either go the fashion route, take a museum tour, look at it from a historical perspective, look at the photography, or look at pop art. And when we talk about pop art, that means popular culture. So anything that you see in movies, social media, advertising, and those are juxtaposed with these Indigenous Native American artists. So if you choose fashion, you'll click on that area. It's going to take you to the Vogue's website, and you'll learn about these 6 Indigenous designers and how they're using fashion to kind of reclaim their culture. There's a couple videos embedded in this, and you'll just explore and read the article. It's pretty neat what some of these Indigenous artists are up to. So if you're not really into fashion, but you just kind of want to take the virtual museum tour, you will click on the museum button. And it's going to take you to the National Museum of American Indian. This is at the Smithsonian National Museum in Washington, D.C. There's also one in New York City. And here you'll see online exhibitions. They're actually based on, so there's US, there's corded art, glass art, textiles, yarn, shoes or hide. There's also some other forms of just animal materials in this section. These are just a collection of work. So it's literally like you're in an art museum, but it's kind of fun because you can look at all the items together and or in these separate categories. So you'll just peruse through, and then down below you can actually take the Google 360 tour of what the museum looks like in person. If you're really into like more history and that sort of exploration, this is a really cool website that you're going to be going to. It's the Art and History of Infinity of Nations, and in it, it actually gives the areas in which you can check out the Native American tribes. And then there's even a contemporary art section. So you can check out basically by region um, and read about some of the artifacts that you find in each of those regions. So this gives you more of a global and historic view. There's some really cool maps so you can see where some of the artifacts come from. And then if you're really more into like photography and just looking at pictures, this is basically a website that's called Developing Stories, and it's Native Americans photographers that are still working in the field. This is sponsored by the Smithsonian, but it takes more of a contemporary approach to the work. And as you look in, you can check out the photo essays um, and the historical sense of where some of these artists are focused in the US. It even gives the timeline of the areas in which they're working and then some of the pieces of their work. And then if none of those really interest you and you're more interested into pop culture, we're going to look at some pop art, and it is just an article, and it shares some of the contemporary pieces of art. You might find these pretty interesting because they are very relevant and current. So this one's called like Indian Star Wars, and this is, if you're into that kind of stuff, it is interesting to hear the artist's perspective and the importance of these pieces. So what you're going to do is you'll choose one of these areas to explore this week, and then you get to choose how you're going to show your work, and that'll be in the next video.